Right, so I think we're broadcasting live. Yes, we are indeed, and I'm just going to do a share of the stream as well. So I'm just hitting a refresh button on my studio and going to go to the live stream itself and get the share button, and I'll also actually test if the comments work. So close that up and I'll paste this in. Quotes. The stream is now live. The YouTube stream is now live. And then just put Python and Python programming, PYT, Python programming. So all of that is just being posted on social media in case some people want to join. And we're going to be looking today at Visual Python. This is a first look, so I've touched a couple of the tabs, and so I'll go to the tabs that I've actually touched, and we'll just go and have a look and see what everything is in here. So welcome to Visual Python. I'm on the About section, so if you click on it, I guess this is the original screen. In fact, this is the bit that I click things on. So I'm going to go here, this Visual Python Online. But the first bit is I'm just going to go over here, and it's got welcome to Visual Python. Visual Python is a graphical user interface GUI-based Python code generator developed on a JupyterLab, Jupyter Notebook, and Google Colab as an extension. Visual Python is an open source project started for students who struggle with coding during Python classes for data science. Okay, interesting. Visual Python. Try Visual Python if you'd like to. Manage big data with minimal coding skills. Okay, we'll see that. Help students, business analysts, researchers to overcome learning barriers with Python. Save repeatedly used codes. This all looks quite convenient, at least on the documentation. It's got some installations for like a desktop and an installation, Visual Python Online. Let's just have a look at that one, because I wonder what's actually going to happen. Okay, fine. That's not actually installing anything. That's where it is. So that's cool. If we actually go to the front page, rather than doing installation, but we can we can go installation, and I guess we can have a desktop version and so forth. Although the desktop version only works for Windows, that's fine for me. I've got Windows. But actually what I'm interested in is this online one, which actually takes you to the same place as clicking this Visual Python Online. So you've got the extension. In fact, it looks like this installation here, users extensions, is the orange tab. Visual Python Desktop is the blue tab, and then Visual Python Online is the green tab. Then it's got docs as well. Let's just see what the docs are. Might as well open them to the side. Okay, there's a couple of things on the sidebar that I never had a look at, so maybe I don't even know really where. I don't know where that sidebar came from, but we'll have a look at that. And community, okay, there's no need to look at that. So there is a login and a sign up. Interesting, because I don't know if I'm logged in or signed up, but I clicked on Visual Python Online. That's the original start one. I'm just going to actually check that people can actually see the chat. So I'm going to hit test in the chat as well. And the first thing I did, by the way, is I went to settings and theme, and it was on the light theme. So this is the way that you'll see it. And so the first thing that I do is I go to theme and turn it to a dark theme. And there's bits and bobs that you can do in the settings, but I wonder if I change that much. Auto-save documents, I think I might have clicked on that. I don't know if it was checked or not. Show active file in the browser, I did check on that. That basically means that I presume if you've got something open, that will be shown in the browser over here. What else is there? Text editor. Okay, that's all of the standard stuff and so forth. Okay, so let's just go in. The page you'll actually open on is this one here. So let's have a look. This, not this test notebook, but this welcome notebook. So that's actually what gets open. And by the way, this settings thing where it says show active file in browser. In fact, I don't even know what that does because it doesn't seem to do much. Settings. Does anyone know what show active file in browser is? I really don't know what it means. Then you've got this simple thing on and off. Simple. It doesn't seem to do much, this simple thing, other than toggle the main header bar away. That's all it seems to do. Doesn't seem to do much else. Okay, so I won't touch that. Kernel status IDE. What's this? There's all of these things. No kernel, JavaScript, welcome. Okay. What's this? I'm going to hit. If I select, what's it going to do? Takes me over there? Is that what it did? It looked like it. Okay, let's just open up a second file. So there we go, second file opened. I'll just make sure I switch off my thingy over here. So that was just YouTube. Right. Let's just go back then. PyDiode. Let's just see what's in there now. Okay, again, doesn't look like it's doing select kernel. Okay. Here's some, so that's what this was referring to. Add a tag. Welcome to Visual Python. Add a tag. Cell tags. Slide style. Fragment skip. Notes. Okay. Advanced tools. Interesting. Right. There we go. So there's a whole bunch of extra stuff in here. Interesting. And just when I go here on the side, before I get into that, so I'll move the, I'll off click this for now, but that looks quite useful and handy. I was actually testing, like, if I can create a file, basically. You can right click to create a file. So use a new file, new notebook, new folder. But actually, if you want to create a file the proper way, or if you want to create a Python file, you can do that. If you want to create a notebook, you can do that. I don't even know what the console versions are, but you can create a text file as well. You can make a markdown file. So there's a few bits and bobs that we can actually do. But that's really either the plus button here, or I guess file, new, and then do from one of these options over here, which is probably actually a little bit clearer because I think that these two things are the same. So let's just close that launcher thing up. Launcher thing happens to be here anyway again. And what else can we do on there? Okay, I think that's it. So I did make like a Python file, and I called it mathematics module, and you can just like rename them whatever. So rename, I called it mathematics module just because I wanted to test some stuff in here. And if I double click on it, I put a couple of functions in there, and I was just playing around to see how it works. But basically, one thing that you need to do, or if you want to use it, is if you're making a function, so define a function. Like if I'm halfway through typing something, I can do the autocomplete like that, hitting the tab key. So I'm going to make another function called multiply, and then x. It's going to multiply two numbers, and I can start typing FL for float and hit tab, and it picks it up. So that's the intelligence. That's as good as it gets. It's not good as as good as VS Code. So we got X, and then we got Y, and then if I just type F, it seems good enough to know that it's going to be a float. And then here R for return, so it gets that one pretty quickly. And then on this particular function, it looks like it's doing the indentation quite nicely as well. X times Y, so it returns that. Control S. Now, if I wanted any way to get that into, because I haven't got this open, I wonder actually if I can just, this is my test notebook. Let's just see if we need to do the import, but then let's just try mm.tab. No, it doesn't. So multiply, no, it doesn't do that. So it looks like possibly, I wonder if I have to, well, when I've amended this particular file, if I want it to go into another file that I was feeding from, I'll need to do kernel and then restart kernel. I think that's the way. It kind of like does a refresh of everything. And then I believe once the kernel's restarted, so the kernel's now restarted, that I can do mm.multiply. So mm.m, and then if I do tab, it gives me all of the options. I just want to kind of like show that. So I could do everything that begins with m. So I don't know why it seemed like I've done an import math and it's given me that as an option, which is a bit an odd one. mm.multiply. So I want to do that, and I want to take in, like, I don't know, 5 and 6 and hit that return, and it calculates and gives me the answer of 30. It's done a multiplication. I wonder why it's taking math in, because is it because I've done the import there? I would have thought maybe, do I have to do an if double underscore name double underscore equals quotations double underscore main double underscore, then if name equals main tab, then main. In which case I'd have to do def main, but still that won't do anything about the import and then return tab. So that's just something extra that I should have. I'll do the kernel. I need to actually click on the notebook itself and then do kernel, restart kernel. But I'm just wondering why it's got the import of math in there. So let's just we have to give it a second for the kernel to be restarted. Okay, no, not restarted. If double underscore, maybe you meant double equals. Yeah, well done. It's picked up. It's done some linting for me. Because I'm so used to the autocompletes and stuff, I'll miss things out like that. So I probably have to do a kernel and a restart again of the kernel. Kernel, restart kernel. Okay, I'm doing everything at the moment with key presses, which is a bit annoying, but it's kind of like the way that I have to do it. Let's click in here and just... Did I forget a colon as well? Yes, there you go. Terrible coding. Main. There we go. So save that, and for the third time lucky. Without the IntelliSense and the linting, I'm like a disaster. So what I'm actually trying to do is get all of that working. So kernel, restart kernel. Back in the day, that was before IntelliSense and linting and all the rest of it, coding, like you'd have to remember everything. It's a bit like having a sat nav. So okay, that's working now, and what I wanted to do was, if I tried to do dot and tab, they're all of the things that are available, but it's still got math, funnily enough. Tab. It doesn't let you pick it. Good. So multiply. Oops, not let me pick that either. It's because I'm hitting the tab button. mm.math. It lets me actually do that. Maybe if I do dot and then tab again. Okay. It's letting me access the math module through the... This imported is letting me access the math module through the mm. That's interesting, because basically over here, that's implying that every module that's imported is going to make its way vicariously into a notebook. So rather annoying, because we don't want that. That's an undesirable feature that I've seen for the first time ever in Python. But then, okay, this is new. Let's get on with this. Let's continue anyway and see what we have over here on the sidebar, which is logic. Okay, class def. That's looking quite useful. Didn't find that before. That would have helped when I was actually trying to build something. So again, if I want to like create a cell, I think is it A and B? If I hover over it, it gives me the shortcuts. A will create a cell above and B will create a cell below. So presumably when I'm not in here, if I hit escape, I'm out of it. If I do B, it creates a cell below. Hit return. Okay, it's fine, we're in there. And then if I want to make a function now, I'll do def, and let's have a look. Function name, my test. I actually kind of like this, and then we can have a parameter that goes in here as well. X default value, it will leave no default value there, so that's fine. And then we can add another parameter, Y, and then hit code view. There we go, my test XY, and then hit, I wonder if there's anything else in there, and then hit OK. And then what happens? Nothing. What happened? Just disappeared. Input code line, define function. Okay. Function name, my function, and then parameter X, parameter Y. Okay. Code view. It's doing that. What else do we do? Over here, hit return. No. And then hit OK. Right, maybe it just creates the function for you. I don't really know what the purpose of this is. Class name, my class, and then the superclass, code view. Well, all it's done is that. Why is it? It's not going to enter it anywhere or do something. Define class and then hit OK. Doesn't seem to make its way into anything. For indexing range, 0 and 100, and then do code view. Well, it does that, but that's not really of that much use, is it? N, there we go. I don't know what, it's just going to change that to N. So it's not really doing anything of any variable. What's variable? Code view. Okay, in a new enumerated variable. Okay, it looks like it's creating some code, but you're not able to, other than, well, you'd have to do code view and copy this like that and then paste it into here. So it gives you that much flexibility, but that's kind of like the use case of what it's got. So I'll hit OK anyway, fine. Let's try snippets out. So just going to delete that because I've just seen a bunch of other stuff. So there's things in here to help you. It's not amazing, but at least there's something there. It's got a library as well. Oh, let's have a look at that. Some Panda stuff. So a little bit of data analysis stuff. So interesting. Pandas plot. So data frame, select variable. I'm not sure that that's any more intuitive when it comes to something a bit more complicated. So you can do color maps and things. Select variable. Where's that coming from? Cancel. Right. X. Chart title. Hello. Figure size. We won't even put a figure size in. Let's just do code view. Okay. Code view. X label, Y ticks. Okay, so it's got all of this stuff on it. Stacked. Run. Oh, it has got a run button. Oh, here it's got a save to block. Code to cell. So this one does give you the option. Because over here in the run, the other ones didn't give you that option. So, but the data frame, do you just paste your data in there? X. I don't even know what the data what data frame am I supposed to be putting in here? So X label, that's going to just label the horizontal axis. The Y label will label the Y axis. X and Y limits. Subplots per column. Stacked. I'm actually wondering what goes in here. Type data cancel. Let's put we put Python dictionary in there. inside there, hello, and then colon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close that up because who's going to know how to do that? But yeah, no, okay, that's not what we want. Okay, so it's just the name of the data. Oh, it must be the name of the data frame. So just df and then do code view. There we go, data frame. I guess data frame dot plot. That's all it's going to do. Okay, fine. So that's what it will actually do, but it doesn't know what the data frame necessarily is. But we could save to block or code to cell or hit run. Run didn't do anything. So let's go back to the pandas plot. So our data frame, imagine that it's called df, and that's pretty much it, and call it our chart. There we go, and then hit code view and then go code to cell, because it didn't say code to cell. Nope, that didn't work. Annoying. Let's try that third time then. So our data frame, I won't even bother putting anything in here this time, and then save to block. Okay, well that didn't do anything either. So not really doing very much of any use there, unfortunately. File, okay, file type CSV, file path, open, and there's no files in here. Maybe if we imported a CSV file, we can do something. Is there actually a data file in here? There's some data files in here, so let's go back and open file path. That seems to be not very useful as well, because I can't kind of like get to the path. Read file, write file, sample data, iris. Okay, so it's got the fish one, but why couldn't I like navigate to it? So again, tiny bit annoying. Read file. I can click here, but when I do that, the navigation thing is completely empty. And when I do allocate to, okay, that's not very useful. So I could do this to sample data. Well, that might work. And then do, again, I'm concerned that, so, okay, fine. That's at least sort of like what it's going to do. Code view, you know, I guess I could copy it all, but it doesn't like run it or do it, like hitting the run button didn't do anything. Hitting all the other buttons, that doesn't do things as well. So tiny bit annoying at the moment. Visualization, okay, figure sizes, okay, cancel. So there's things that are there, but it is teasingly annoying in the sense that it doesn't seem to work. Regression, linear regression, select option, fit intercept. Yeah, let's fit an intercept, user option, allocate to, code view. So this is, you know, how you would do sklearn. I'm sure that this will improve. And then hit cancel. I wonder if I copied it. Yeah, it's okay. It's not even the world's best for copying. So I'm not amazingly impressed at this point in time. Package search. Okay. NumPy. Is there a search button? No, but let's do search. There we go. No, that doesn't work either. Okay. Installed, uninstalled, uninstalled. Right, that seems to be not very good either. Also, okay, I'm not massively liking this at the moment. Let's just go back on this. That kind of like seems like everything. Hold on, or is it? That's pandas. So that was in the library section. This was the data, and close that, close that. Okay, so these are all the different things that you can have: machine learning, statistics, visualizations, data analysis, library, and some logic, and we could presumably search them. So let's search for for, like a for loop. Okay, so it does do that. So that pops up, that's helpful. And pandas plot, there we go. So we can do like a pandas plot and then do that in here. So again, it's our data frame, and then hit code view and kind of like just get this here, which is, we'll do a copy so I can explicitly see it, and then kind of like paste it in there. somewhere. Where's the actual paste there? Paste cells. Okay, just do Control V then to stick it in there. So there are things that we can do. It's not looking amazing, you know, the IntelliSense. I mean, it's kind of like semi-helpful. I way prefer doing it in VS Code still and kind of like sharing it on GitHub. It looks, you know, far simpler to do that. You know, if I've got a file over here, so I could kind of like, maybe I'll comment all of this out. But I can make my own functions with the IntelliSense that pops up a little bit quicker with the snippets and code blocks and so forth. And if I was to import something, we can see how it pops up a lot quicker. And also, if I was to import a different module from this module, that I wouldn't get this math importing in it. So I'm going to say, I might stop here because I think I've exhausted a lot of stuff, although there is actually there's one more bit that I'll go through, which is this welcome to Visual Python. I guess I should like to get started using Visual Python by clicking the orange button on the right side. I guess they're talking about this little thing. That's the orange button on the right side. Visual Python can import libraries easily. Yeah, okay, it's able to do that, but it's not, the IntelliSense doesn't pop up for it, but you can do it quite fast. Load sample data, fantastic. You can load sample data, subset the data frame with multiple conditions. You can do all of the same stuff. There's nothing wrong with any of this. That's kind of like the example. And you can do a plot.show, but I mean, so it's all okay. There's no advantage to this over, in fact, I'm going to say that installing VS Code is still beats this. So we've tested out another system, should we say, and it, you know, other than being a web-based version, so we've got sklearn and so forth, you know, that comes, I guess, shipped with it, should I say, but other than being a web-based version, it doesn't really, in terms of the actual coding and like the helpfulness for the driving of your code for a user, in terms of that, it's not really, I'm going to say it's not that helpful potentially, because it's just a bit more clunkier to do things, and it doesn't really offer that much more than the VS Code. And in fact, VS Code has, so over here, it's actually got a Jupyter notebook inside of it, and you know, you can do all of the same kinds of things. So you can create some code, you can create some markdown, and you know, so for example, I could import, and then over here test, and then all of the various test files that I've ever made, test underscore stack overflow has SO, for example, and then SO dots, that would get all of the methods and things. But I think I've only got one function in there. So SO dot function. To me, I created this function here. It's an empty one. But we can see that that's kind of like intuitively much more useful than having this, where is it, this Jupyter over here. You know, one nice thing that it did have that I was able to do, if I can do it, is it had this contextual help, which I'm actually going to try and get in VS Code, because it's actually sort of like useful. Because what you can do then is if I click on MM, or it should have done it, but oh, the contextual help has now disappeared. That's a tiny little bit annoying again, this contextual help thing. I wanted it to, if I click on MM and do get show contextual help, then it does it. I guess I have to keep closing it and reopening it. So can I go to sort of like the multiply function? I can now. Well, I've gone to the multiply function, it's showing me subtractor. I've gone to make square and it's showing me the line above. Okay, that's not the most useful. And then I go to sig and it shows me, you know, this is for creating. I can't hover over it or anything. Okay, but it's got, I say that's got the sigmoid function, so that's showing it. If I click on make square, okay, it's got the make square. That's my doc string. Okay, so that's helpful. If I go here to the actual module level, It doesn't show the docstring, funny enough. You know, there was a docstring for the main module. Or was there? Let me just go and have a little check. Yeah, there is a docstring here at the top. So it doesn't show that. So, but it is doing the docstrings for the various functions. Although again, I click on this one, it's got make square, it's got the docstring, but then it's showing me the source code for another function. That's really annoying. It seems to be showing me the source code for like the function above it, if that makes sense. Okay, again a bit disappointing, I'm going to say. So, okay, whatever. It's a good start, but it's not as good as VS Code. I'm going to call this, I don't know if it's a fail. It's a semi-positive because it gives you extra functionality. I wouldn't be using the Jupyter that way, and if I was going to do it, I'd go JupyterLite, Jupyter Notebook. I think that I might be going to the Jupyter.org if I was going to do it this way. And like you can hit try in your browser, install Jupyter Lab. But I think if I just do try in the browser and something like a Jupyter Notebook or Jupyter Lab, I'll try Jupyter Notebook. Oh, that also goes to JupyterLite, so let's go back then. Okay, maybe this is a bit more. No, it's got the same kind of stuff. It's pointing the user to the same place. I guess it's going to have the same functionality in a way. Try Jupyter. Okay, try in your browser. So Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, try in your browser. Okay, there we go. So that's JupyterLite, that's Jupyter. They seem to point the user to like the same place, but maybe it doesn't, maybe it doesn't. Wasm powered. Wasm is the web application. It's something for the web, basically, to get everything working in the web. Let's go to the Jupyter Notebook, see if that's doing anything. I presume it's going to install the classic. No, it seems to again being migrating all of these into one. Okay, it's fine. I'm not singing and dancing about any of this stuff again, so kind of had a look. You know, could you even share it with someone? It doesn't look like you can, so you're gonna have to share it in a different way. There's no like link. I don't think you can share this because it's your own private one. So it's not like you can even copy and send a link. So I think I'll call it the end of the day for Visual Python. I'm saying that it's pretty looking, but it's underdeveloped at the moment, and there's many things that are missing. And I think by far that VS Code, I couldn't recommend this over VS Code. I think like or some of the other editors that I've used, VS Code seems to be better. You know, there are some other ones. Like PyCharm, I think Python. IDEs. There we go. Let's get some Visual Studio. Like I have got it. It's massive, so I wouldn't use that one. PyCharm, Spider, Atom. I've used it again. I wouldn't use that. So it's the IDLE. That's the one that comes shipped with it. Popular IDE. So there's a whole bunch of various different ones. I think VS Code is still the market leading one as far as we go. PyCharm, yeah, and a couple, six best IDEs. Here we go in DataCam. Let's have a look. What's being recommended? Jupyter Lab. Well, off of that, Spider. That's quite nice, but VS Code, I think, is the big one of them. Colabs, I've used that. It's okay for various things. It offers extra features. Best IDEs, yeah, Spider. Funnily enough, it hasn't done any of the desktop ones, so it hasn't like included PyCharm again. So yeah, so I'm going to say stick with VS Code. Don't go with this for the moment, and we'll leave it at that. I'm going to end the stream. If you found it useful, hit the like button, hit the follow button, and also if you've got any comments or anything that you want to say, add your comments into the chat below. And that's really it. Thank you. Bye.